So I've always liked when other YouTubers, do a quick bookshelf tour. My bookshelf kind of grew based on the inspiration of seeing other people's. I think what I have at no other bookshelf. Welcome back to the Muscle Code YouTube channel. This is our third video, and I have one subscriber so far. So, and I think it was my wife Jessie who did it. So slow and steady wins the race. You know what they say. So today I'm going to switch it up. We're going to go back and forth with the two top 5 lists that I'm posting videos for. This list will be the top 5 books that I wasn't crazy about that most people seem to have liked. So it's another kind of commentary on the whole review process and my thoughts on how kind of like what I want to change with the whole review process that a lot of other people have. The moral of these videos will be you don't know what reviews, you don't know if you're gonna like a book or not until you read it. That's why I almost suggest reading the first chapter of a book rather than reading reviews on the book, because the 2 books that I'm gonna unveil today got pretty good reviews across the board, but I wasn't crazy about them. I'm not gonna say I didn't like them, because I don't regret reading them. I just wasn't crazy about it. So the number 5 on the top 5 list of books that I wasn't crazy about that most people seem to like is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. And I don't even have the book to show you because I got rid of it just as proof that I wasn't crazy about it. I saw this book on a top 5 list of best fantasy series when I first got into kind of like devouring the other fantasy series after I read A Song of Ice and Fire 4 times. And I figured, why not? I saw it on the list. I picked it up at Barnes & Noble. I read the first chapter. I kind of had chemistry with it. I'm like, this might be good. And it just didn't quite live up to my expectations. A few caveats is if you're into Norse mythology or, all those types of things, God, Zeus, whatever, it might be a book that you really like. I'm just not that into that type of stuff. Percy Jackson and the whatever Percy Jackson books, I don't know what that is. We'll put it here. I read the first book in that series too. I wasn't crazy about it, and it just didn't. I mean, Neil Gaiman is known as a really great writer, and I just felt like it came through in the writing that he thinks he's good. It just like, I wasn't crazy about that. And I feel like the ending was leading up to a cool ending, and the way it finished was a little bit of a cop-out, in my opinion, on a few aspects. So I don't know if Neil Gaiman's so advanced in writing that, kind of like subverting your expectations is what makes him feel good. But it just didn't quite do it for me, and that's why I don't even have the book to show you. I got rid of it pretty much immediately after I finished. So, and I know they came out with a TV show about it. The guy who played Al Swearingen on Deadwood is I guess the main character. But glad I got it read. I'm glad I read it because now I'm not interested to read any other Neil Gaiman books. So that was a good takeaway there. Moving on to number 4 on the list is A Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. And again, I don't have the book to show you. I got rid of it pretty much after I read that one too. That one, I mean, it was a crazy international bestseller. A movie came out, a couple movies, one in Sweden, one here. So it's obviously massively popular. It has almost a cult following. People would go to Sweden to where the book took place to kind of visit the landmarks. And and another caveat for this one is that Stieg Larsson wrote it in Swedish. And I think the translation took something away from it into English. So I want to kind of give him some credit, whereas it was translated. So I read the translated work. And I felt like it's missing the polish of the Swedish version. And it just seemed, I had a few problems with the book. With my mystery, I'm an Agatha Christie fan. I like my mysteries to be almost mind blowing. I like them to be like, oh, and kind of like, blow my mind for a second. And this one was, and it's almost it could be considered a good thing, but this one was almost more professional. It unfolded naturally, and and it was almost like it almost seemed like a documentary at times rather than a work of fiction. And then some of the content was a little hard. It was a little, put it bluntly, it was a little harsh. And I mean, not that I'm just a regular guy, but it just seemed a little harsh at times. And it's not something that I want to spend time. Like, I mean, I read Star Wars, I read happy books. So it's not something that I wanted to kind of get too much involved in. But overall, it just seemed a little dull. And it just didn't have the mystery kick at the end that I kind of, what I look for in a good mystery. But like I said, I'm glad I read it. I almost had to read it because it's so popular. But it just didn't quite do it for me. And then, it's just, what can I say? I mean, there's 2 other books in the main series, and I won't be reading them, so I'm glad I got it done. But Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, number 4 in the list of top 5 books that I wasn't crazy about, that most people seem to have liked. Next week, we'll go back to the original list, top 5 books I did like that most people were not crazy about. So sorry for switching it up on you. Maybe that's why I have 1 subscriber so far. So thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again. So I've always liked when other YouTubers, do a quick bookshelf tour. My bookshelf kind of grew based on the inspiration